To be or not to be, that is not just any question. It's the question when it comes to preparing Shakespeare for UGC NET English exam. William Shakespeare, one of the greatest literary giants, is recognized by everybody, including people belonging from non-literature backgrounds. He continues to shape storytelling, drama, poetry, and whatnot even centuries later. But what makes him so special, so timeless, that people can't stop talking about him even centuries later? Perhaps it's the words that he uses to carve out sentences. It's the language that he uses to uncover deep truths about human emotions, human feelings, and human existence itself. In fact, did you know that Shakespeare invented so many words, phrases, and idioms in his works that have become an integral part of English language today? Phrases and idioms like cold-blooded, break the ice, all that glitters is not gold, wear your heart on your sleeve, and so many more. That is why his quotes continue to be timeless. They are continued to be remembered by so many people, and that is why they are continued to be asked in exams like UGC NET English. In today's video, we are going to dive deep into understanding 5 of the most iconic quotes of Shakespeare that have been frequently asked in UGC NET English exam. We'll understand that these quotes were spoken by whom, to whom, understand their significance and how do they contribute in the development of the plot, and not only that, but understand and analyze their meaning and significance on a more socio-political and a broader level. Let's start this video with the most famous, the most popular, and the most frequently asked quote of Shakespeare. It is, "To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it's nobler in mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing end them." This quote forms a part of the larger soliloquy that was given by Hamlet in Act 3, Scene 1. It is a very crucial moment in the play because this is when Hamlet contemplates about the nature of life, death, and the morality of existence itself. It comes after the realization of the truth behind his father's death. He contemplates about the possibility of his father's murder and the possibility of being surrounded by the very murderers. He feels extremely betrayed by his uncle, by his mother as well. And so this is the point where everything changes for Hamlet. He becomes even more indecisive, more brooding, more contemplative, and decides to avenge his father's death. And the kind of betrayal that he felt towards his mother, he tries to project it on Ophelia and tells her to go to the nunnery. And that is why this entire scene is also called as the nunnery scene. Thematically speaking, this entire scene, especially the soliloquy, does talk about existentialism, uncertainty, indecisiveness, and at the same time, the inevitability of death. The second quote of Shakespeare that was asked in UGC NET English exam a couple of times was from the tragedy of King Lear. It says, "Is man no more than this? Consider him well. Thou owest the worm no silk, the beast no hide, the sheep no wool, the cat no perfume." These are the lines that were uttered by King Lear himself in Act 3, Scene 4. He finds himself in a mischief storm. He's feeling extremely betrayed by his daughters, and that's when he witnesses an almost naked state of a beggar. This situation provokes him to think about human existence itself, to ponder over the nature of human existence, and to question mankind's chase for power, wealth, or clothes for that matter. The almost naked state of a beggar symbolizes human vulnerability, and especially the vulnerability of King Lear. Why? Because he feels betrayed by his daughters, and that's why he is vulnerable to his own choices and the mistakes that he made in his life. It is a very powerful moment in the play because King Lear is essentially pondering over the futility of life's possessions, transience of life, and the fragility of human relationships. Apart from the tragedies of King Lear and Hamlet, there is another Shakespearean tragedy from which questions are repeatedly asked in UGC NET English exam. It is Macbeth. Macbeth contains one of the most philosophical, powerful and evocative quotes which was spoken by the titular character himself, which is, "Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour on a stage and is heard no more." As you can see, this is such a powerful line that was spoken by Macbeth himself in Act 5 when he realizes that his wife has committed suicide. It forms a part of his soliloquy because after all this chase behind ambition and power, he realizes that he has achieved nothing but emptiness. And yet again, we find Shakespeare talking about the transience of life, the futility of chasing power, wealth, and all of those things, and at the same time, the meaninglessness of life. I mean, Shakespeare has talked a lot about the meaninglessness of life through the soliloquies of some of the major characters in his tragedies. Shall we call him an existentialist? Let me know in the comment section below. Having said that, Hamlet, Macbeth and King Lear, these are some of the most powerful and important middle period tragedies of Shakespeare. They are frequently asked in UGC NET English exam. If you want to understand Shakespeare's works in a chronology, especially his dramas, for your UGC NET English exam preparation, then you can join my live classes for NET English. In these classes, I'm providing a variety of courses starting from the 1-hour master classes to crash courses. In these classes, I am covering the history of British English literature, Indian English literature and literary theories in a very simplified and comprehensive manner. When it comes to the history of British English literature and Indian English literature, I am covering every period, every author and their works in a very detailed manner. And with the literary theories, I'm covering every complex term as well as complex concept in an easy to understand manner, which will provide you the confidence to ace UGC NET English exam. The best part about these sessions is that they are live one-on-one sessions, which means that I can provide you personalized guidance tailored to your needs and requirements, trying to fill the possible gaps in your UGC NET English exam preparation. If you want to know more about the courses I offer, the sessions I take and the notes I provide, feel free to check out my TopMate page. It's topmate.io/Riya Gandhi. I've shared the link in the description box below, so don't forget to check it out. Having said that, let's move on to the two remaining quotes of Shakespeare, which are again equally iconic and frequently asked in UGC NET English exam. Apart from Shakespeare's tragedies, his comedies, especially of the later period, are also filled with a lot of philosophical musings, making them the favorites for UGC NET exam. One of the most important quotes that you should remember from the exam perspective is from the Tempest. It says, "Full many a lady I have eyed with best regard, and the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear." Any guesses who must have spoken these very romantic lines in the Tempest? It was spoken to Miranda by Ferdinand in Act 3, Scene 1. In this particular scene, Ferdinand talks about and confesses that he has admired other women before, but none has captivated him as Miranda has. This is the scene wherein their relationship becomes even more solidified and genuine, becoming a pivotal part of the entire play. And not just that, but the way Ferdinand expresses his love to Miranda, the way he keeps her on a pedestal, is almost equal to the Renaissance ideals of love and beauty. Because during that point of time, the Renaissance writers, being inspired by Petrarch and Dante, they often portrayed women as paragons of virtue. They portrayed their female muses in such an idealistic manner, praising their beauty and also the love towards them. And finally, the last and the most iconic quote of Shakespeare is from his comedy As You Like It. It starts with, "All the world's a stage, and all men and women are merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 stages. One of my favorite quotes, it is part of a larger monologue that was spoken by Jacques in Act 2, Scene 7 in front of Duke Senior and other lords in the forest of Arden. In this particular monologue, as you can rightly interpret, it is basically talking about the juxtaposition of a play with life, humans as actors performing variety of roles in life. Now, why would Shakespeare do this? Why would he juxtapose a life and a play together? Possibly because he wants to reinforce the fact that life is fragile. This chase between wealth, power and money, it's all futile. Life essentially, when you talk about it, is transient. It is cyclical in nature. And at some point or time, no matter how wealthy and powerful a person is, he will be reduced down to oblivion. That takes us back to Ozymandias by P.B. Shelley, right? Talking about the same things. But definitely when we talk about As You Like It and the way that he has talked about these 7 stages, it's extremely profound and philosophical. And not to mention existentialist in nature. These are the 5 important and iconic quotes of Shakespeare that you should prepare before you appear for your UGC NET English exam. Apart from these 5 quotes, there are also other additional quotes that you should not skip for your NET exam. These are, for example, in Julius Caesar, you have that cowards die many times before their deaths. In Othello, you have I am not what I am, or jealousy is a green-eyed monster. At the same time, you have Sonnet 18, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? All of these are extremely important when it comes to UGC NET English exam. So make sure that you understand their meaning, their interpretation, as well as their context, so that you are exam ready when June comes around. Which quote of Shakespeare resonated with you the most? Let me know in the comments section below. And if you found this video informative and helpful, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I'll see you in the next one.